Hello, hello. We have not done this for a while, have we, my friends? Goodness gracious, let me push some buttons in the background here. All right. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, it's Monday. I swear. You know those little sayings like, I need a day in between Saturday and Sunday? That was me this week. Sunday came and went, and I was like, where did my weekend go? Where did my weekend go? Because I needed more weekend. Oh my gosh. So, for those who may not know, I am Danny Ackerman, also known as the Niche Lady. And I used to do this every single Monday. And you may have noticed I have skipped a couple. I've skipped a couple of Mondays with this. And that's something I want to talk about today as why, what's going on? What am I dealing with here in my life? And I have these discussions with you because I am hoping there are those of you out there that will relate, and I can give you some helpful, motivational, inspirational tips on how to deal with all this stuff that gets thrown at us in our life and in our businesses and just in general. So that's what we're talking about today. Yes, Donna, I have a Frog Prince doll. Yes, I do. It's funny. I look over at the comments, and that was the first comment I saw over there. It was like, oh. And I am streaming over on Facebook as well. So you may hear me address a comment that you're not seeing over here in the YouTube chat. And that is because I can see I see everything happening both on Facebook and YouTube. So I appreciate all of you who are joining me today. Because, yeah, it's been a hot minute since we've done this. So for those that have been following along, I went to San Diego. And while I was in San Diego, it just wasn't conducive to do a show. And I've added a Monday video. Now, what you will see is tonight there will not be a Monday video because I don't have a Monday video ready, which is okay. And that's really the point of what. And I'm going to say this out loud today, and I'm not as much for you guys, but for me to be out there saying it and hearing myself say it, because I need to remember this too, is that sometimes we put such a burden of stuff on our plate that we drive ourselves crazy. Can anybody resonate with that? I am put a lot of stuff on my plate because sometimes I think I am Superwoman and can do it all. And then I get completely overwhelmed. I actually get jealous of the people that I see taking a step back and being able to just put what looks like something really important aside so that they can deal with more important things. And I'm like, how do you do that? I want to do that. I know, Gail. Well, here's the funny thing. So let me kind of you guys are going to get a little peek behind the scenes of what has been going on in the niche lady life here. So, I opened a store, and the store officially opened its doors on December 7th. Now, I have an amazing team of people. I have Rebecca, who manages the store. I have Betsy now, who has come in and helped manage the store so that can free me up a little bit more to do things. But in all of that, Noah went from working 5 days a week to requesting having Tuesdays and Saturdays off because he was becoming very, very unhappy having all of his days just work, which is funny. That's kind of what we're talking about. He is not even 18 years old yet. And I started thinking, you're right. He should not have to worry about working full time yet. He's still a student. He is pursuing a dream that he has to pursue while he's young. He can't wait. It's not a wait until you're 30 years old kind of a dream. It's a dream that he has to pursue now, and he's doing an absolutely fantastic job pursuing it. So he needed those days. So that meant then I had to fill the gaps here at the store and all of that. And, you know, we do Whatnot sales twice a week now. So I'm doing my, you know, Saturday night from home Whatnot sale. I'm doing one specifically that benefits the store on Monday afternoons. That'll be coming up today at 3 p.m. And then, of course, with all of the selling comes all of the shipping and all handling all of the emails and there's a lot. And I'm trying to get my taxes done and trying to do all that other stuff so that I can buy a house. I really, really want to buy a house this time. So one of the things that I did to help me free up more time was I hired the Conlins to film and edit at least one video a week for me. But let me tell you, my viewers do not like change. And I gotta tell you, it was a little disheartening. We put a lot of time, work, and effort into making kind of the reality TV show little thing that we did, the good stuff. It did not get received well. It did not. We gave it, what did we give it? About 6 or 7 episodes. And it never caught on. And I got told some pretty vicious things about it. And so I'm like, okay, let's take like the production elements out of this. And like, why don't you guys let's go yard sailing together, and you film me and then you do the editing, and then that frees me up. And so we did that, and those have really not gotten received well. And people are just brutal. I think that's the thing about it. It's not so much that the numbers didn't jive. I can live with a little bit lower numbers. Lord knows I put out videos that don't always take off. It was the brutality in the comments that has really just, it's kind of hurt my heart for a while. And you may notice I have stayed away from my comment section on YouTube for a little bit because, you know, I know I've got thick skin, big shoulders, whatever you want to call it. I've got all that, but it's still, you still read it. You still see that it's happening. And there's not a human being out there with a soul that wouldn't be affected by some of the ugliness that was written in the comment section on those videos. And it wasn't only towards me. It was like really, really brutal towards Will. And I was just like, this is not okay. This is not good. So those videos are still like, we've actually got several videos ahead. So those are still going to come out. But it's really, I don't know. I don't know what to do next about that. I don't know what the right thing to do is. I know, just kind of, you know, push it off. I know those, like, and you guys don't even know. You don't see a lot of the comments that come through, because if there's certain words used in a comment, they get put into like a back end section for approval. So you don't see a lot of what I'm talking about. But it's really, it's been brutal. I thought, hey, you know, how cool would it be if people can actually see the part they never see is how I'm like looking at the tables and scanning stuff. And so I do read constructive criticism. I read it. I want to improve. Will wants to improve. We want to make the video what everybody wants to see. Obviously, that's the name of the game in this business. Make a video that people want to watch. So those who came back and said, well, you just don't like constructive criticism, and, you know, well, yeah, I do. I think we have a little discrepancy in what we're calling constructive criticism. There is a way to say things. There is a way to present things that isn't just full on attack mode, you know. Be gentle. Just be gentle. Do it as if you would say it to me in person. Like, how would you bring it to me in person? Like, I don't know if you noticed, but the audio was a little off, or would really like to see more of you looking at the items, but that is not what was done. Some of you did that. Like, and it was beautiful. Thank you for being kind with those comments, because they are taken to heart, and we are working on the filming style. And Danny's trying to figure out how to use a GoPro so that there's me footage and Will footage, and that all gets combined together. But boy, yeah, I know. There is a lack of understanding out there of what constructive criticism is. The key word there is constructive criticism. And I think everybody's open to that. I think everybody is open to learning how they can do better. And if they're not, well, then we should be. So yeah, keyboard warriors, right, Crystal? Yeah, I think that's just the thing to remember, is just say it like you'd say it right here to my face. Because we all know we would not say those things. You have to remember, so Will and his family, for instance, just got done at the Santa Barbara Film Festival interviewing some pretty spectacular celebrities, and they've done award-winning documentary. Like, these are professional filmmakers. And I am so completely mind-blown blessed to have them be part of what I'm doing here, and want to even take on a filming project and all of that. So I take it very, very roughly that, that the criticism was so harsh towards them, because they are absolutely fantastic people. And but coming from a different sort of filming, it's a learning process to figure out the right style, the right mix, the right editing on all this. So it's kind of an adventure for all of us, and you will see it grow and change. I mean, if you look back at my very, very, very first videos here on the channel, and some of you have been, I love it. I love when you comment on a video that I did, 10 years ago. I'm like, whoa, those were the early days. But you can see there is a pattern of improvement over the years, because I did read the constructive criticism, and I did learn from my mistakes, and I did want to make better, and all of that. So everybody goes through that, and everybody goes through that no matter what it is you're learning, whatever skill you're doing. And I see so many people out there who are so hard on themselves right out of the gate. I have some very dear friends who tried Whatnot for about 4 shows and then gave it up. And it broke my heart, because I know they can be phenomenal on Whatnot. What do you do? And I see people who give up on eBay, or they give up on whatever that thing is that you, outside looking in, you can see the potential for something great. But if somebody doesn't see it in themselves, there's nothing you can do. Yes, yes. Change is hard for some. Yeah, let me catch up on your comments over here. Thank you, Vintage and Vino. I almost got to meet up with Vintage and Vino in San Diego, but the stars were just not aligning. It was a really weird trip to San Diego. It was a really weird trip this time to San Diego. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, are you guys planning a little trip up to Vegas? Roundabouts the 25th, maybe? Zan and Bree. I think maybe I saw Bree was gonna head up this way too. I know I'm squirreling right now. I'm just catching up on comments. Yeah, so all of those of you who for a very long time have been saying, Danny, you've got to take a break, you've got to rest. Well, you've got to understand, I have to put out daily content. There is a certain level of consistency that is needed on my YouTube channel in order for me to maintain the revenue level that I have on YouTube, which affords me to open a business and run a business, because we're not in the black yet on this, let me tell you, which was not to be expected. No business comes out of the gate running in the profit. So we're getting there. We're doing great, but it's got a ways to go. And I have been financing that through my videos, through reselling has financed all of this. So I need to keep up. I need to keep up those videos and make sure that the ad companies are still wanting to pay to put the ads on my videos and all of that. So that was, coming up with plan B. I could have somebody do a little bit of my editing. And with that comes me not doing a recap, which I know you guys love the recap, and I love doing the recap, and the recap is really good for me to have a virtual assistant who can keep up with everything I'm buying. And that's why we came up with, okay, I will just list all of those things on eBay, because now there's also a record of all of the things that I purchased at those sales. So it's one of the things that we have to get a little better at, is filming everything that I buy. And Will and I have been talking about that. How can we, maybe hand off the camera to me if you want to go look at something in another room or something, so that I get all of that stuff filmed. So again, it's still a work in progress. Welcome, Nellie, to the Niche Nation. We're so happy to have you. So it's a work in progress. But so I actually have a video that's edited, but Danny has not got the stuff ready to go up on eBay yet, because my lovely Carrie has been away for a couple of weeks, and just things, things happen. So we're catching up with that this week, going to get ahead on those items that need to go on eBay so I can get those videos out, and you'll be seeing a lot more of those things on eBay. So the reason you're going like, Danny, that didn't like free you up any more time, but in essence it did, because by not having to do the editing of an entire video, that gives me back 3 hours in a week. In that 3 hours, if I'm utilizing that time to not do the complete eBay listing, but do all of the quality control that goes into launching them, then that's now a money-making hours that I've gotten back that makes it worthwhile to pay somebody to do that other piece, because that's the only way you can take on another project without letting something completely go, which is what we're trying. We're trying so hard to do. Juggling. Yeah. And in the meantime, I have got 2 teenagers who also need me. And I have been, you can ask Rebecca. Well, Carrie hears it when she's around. She hasn't been around this week, but I've had some like really teary moments the past couple of weeks where I really wanted to go do something with my kids, but I needed to edit a video, or I had to get eBay listings up, or the shipping really got bogged down. And so that was tough. And I don't want that to happen. I want to be able to spend time with my kids. Especially I'm trying to get more involved in what Noah's doing. Because I think I hear him, he wants to be a race car driver, all this stuff, and I hear that, but I didn't truly understand what that meant in regards to how does that happen and how does he want to be supported. So now he is physically racing go-karts, which is the first step into getting into the bigger racing. These race car drivers start in go-karts. So he's now doing that the last Sunday, yes, of every month. He is racing down at one of the go-kart places. It has a competitive league. And that is like so super important to him. And that is why he needed his Tuesdays and his Saturdays free, because he has to practice. And he practices on his sim rig, which is the other thing he does. He's in that's like a simulation. So he has built himself a virtual F1 race car, basically, is what it is. It's everything but being on a real track. It's the real steering wheel. It is the real seat. It is the real harness. It's the whole thing is like driving one of those F1 race cars. And he is in an international league. I think he told me there are, oh gosh, he told me last night how many. I think there's like 16. There's like 16 of them in this league, and they race every Saturday morning. He gets up at 5 a.m. to be part of this race every Saturday morning. And he won. He's the defending champion this season. He won last season. He was the champion. He was the best of all of them. And I didn't really understand what that meant. So last night he's like, Mom, do you want to watch my race from Saturday? They live streamed it. And come on. I mean, I'm like, first is like, oh my gosh, I have so much to do. I can't really afford the time to sit. And then I'm like, yes, Noah, let's watch. So I sat and I'm watching this thing, and it was a whole new level of proud for me, because I'm like, there's a guy who is calling the race. He's not racing. He is just the announcer of the race. And to hear the continued respect for Noah was like, that is so crazy cool. Like they're calling him the defending champion, and then they're calling him a brilliant racer. And every time he did, like, that was a brilliant move by Ackerman, and now we know why he's number one. And it was just like, wow, like this is serious. Like he's really, really good. He could really, really make it there. And then we sat there and we watched on Netflix. There is a series called F1 Drive to Survive. And so I started watching that with him. And now that's got me going, I'm not so sure I want him to do this. That looks really scary now. I'm all about the sim rig and the go-karts. Those. But if anybody's watched that, you'll know what I'm talking about, because they show all of the stuff that can go wrong and the high pressure. But if that's his dream, that's his dream. And he does have a YouTube channel. If anybody wants to kind of follow what he's doing, he posts videos of both of his, I think I got tears in my eyes. He posts videos of his actual races, because he wears a GoPro on his helmet when he's doing the actual races. And then he also has videos from his sim rig, if anybody wants to follow along and see what he's doing. Literally, the name of his channel is Noah Ackerman. That's the name of his channel. And there's other Noah Ackermans, so just look for the purple goose. He's got a purple goose as his thumbnail. Yeah, thumbnail. Is that what it's called? Thumbnail. There you go. And Melissa just posted it over there. Oh gosh, so Crystal, I know Noah doesn't watch my videos, so I can say this. He doesn't even know. He doesn't even know that he's going. It's going to be his 18th birthday this year. The boy is going to go to that F1 race that's coming to Vegas. But he doesn't think he is. He doesn't think he is, because the tickets are so ridiculously expensive and all that. No. That's been in the budget for a while to make sure that he gets to go. Yep. So Rachel wants to be an Olympic dressage rider. That's what she wants to do. That is her. And that's been like a journey. She started her horseback riding. I think we're just going into her third year. I think this is her third year. And so the first year we got with a trainer who unfortunately put her on a horse that was way too much horse for a beginner. And she had a super bad fall, which has affected everything up to now. She's had a very slow going of it, getting her confidence back. And that trainer just wanted her to jump. She doesn't want to jump. She doesn't want to be a jumper. She wants to be a dressage rider. And so now she has a trainer that understands that. builds her up, knows how to build her confidence, puts her on the right horse. So she's going for it too. She's going for it too. This is why, you guys may not know this, on my Friday live sales, Rachel helps for the entire sale. She works in the background. She puts all the bids up on the screen, and she does that to help pay for her horseback riding lessons, which are not cheap. And she goes twice a month. So mama pays for one and she works for the other. And that's kind of the deal that we worked out. Gabrielle, Diane, over on Facebook. So I stream on Facebook and YouTube. So most of the comments are coming through on YouTube. Yeah, that was a big horse. That was a big horse she was on. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. That was just, and it wasn't the horse's fault. It was just, it's almost always rider error. So she knows what she did now. She learned from that. She leaned forward. Little horseback riding lesson. If you get scared on a horse, don't lean forward. Leaning forward, bad. You need to plant yourself down in the saddle, sit up straight, get your shoulders back, head up, get your real good balance there. That's going to keep you in the seat. But she hunched forward, which to an off the track thoroughbred, anybody know what that means? Let's see if it was an off the track thoroughbred. Forward means go. So he just did what he thought he was being told to do. She lost her balance. She slid down his neck. It was a very graceful fall. He was just a really giant horse. And the minute she came off, he stopped. He was a good horse. He was a good horse. He was too big. He made me nervous. He was just too big of a horse. But yeah, he was a good boy. No malice in the horse's part. He was just doing what he thought he was supposed to do, which was go. Yeah, that's what ex-race horses will do. Yeah. But see, that was a good lesson for her too. We have to fall sometimes. We have to fall. We have to make the mistakes. We have to fall on our face to be able to get back up, brush ourselves off and go, okay, how did that happen? How can I make sure that doesn't happen again? It happens in everything we do in life. You gotta have some failures. If you're not having failures, you're not taking enough risks. No, there's no shame in never having been on a horse, Crystal. Do you want to? I can make it happen. I am living my dream. I'm gonna highlight this so that the YouTube people can see what Carol said over on Facebook here. I'm absolutely living my dream, and I think my kids see that. And that I was just going to go into talking about you got to have a why, and that is really what drives me. Is that I am that example, and not even just to my kids. But, and sorry, guys, I love you too, but this is really about my women out there who grew up through an error, ooh, Freudian slip there, an era of women don't matter. Women's opinions don't matter. Women's ideas don't matter. Women need to be put off to the wayside because it's a man's world. And we are still living in that, if not so much in our society, because things have improved, but in our heads still, because we grew up with that mentality. And so it's very hard to speak up. It's very hard to ask for what you want in life. It's very hard to go for what you want in life, because somewhere you're going to have a man out there thinking that you shouldn't. And if you have a man behind you saying you should, then God bless him. But unfortunately, it is a discrimination that still exists, and especially in the business world. So I love to be that inspiration for women to go for your dreams. And even if you are a woman of a certain age, it's never too late. I am 56 years old, you guys. I'm 56 years old, and I'm not near where I want to be yet. I want the Good Stuff thrift stores to be a national chain. That's where I'm going with this. And I will not rest until I make that happen. It's probably going to be like a franchise kind of thing across the country. But in order for that to happen, there's things that the foundation has to be set. We have to get all the processes, systems worked out here first, learn what works, learn what doesn't, kind of take the fall on a lot of stuff and probably lose money in a lot of areas and all that, so that when we launch it out to others, it's all been perfected and they don't have to make those same mistakes. So yeah. Yes, it was a big horse. It's okay. She was willing to get on that. See, that's the thing. She was willing to get on that horse. Wasn't the size of the horse that scared her until it came time for coming off unexpectedly. But that's what I want the generations to learn now is you got to just go for it sometimes. Don't let everybody is telling Noah, well, you're getting too old for F1. Oh, well, there's only 22 drivers in the world. What are the chances you're going to become one? Oh, all of those families came from a lot of money and, connections and all of that. And most people take that as, well, then it can never happen. I say it might be harder, but you know what? You can make it happen. You can make it happen. He goes, well, I'm actually looking at G2 now. I guess it's a grade down from F1, and it's more friendly towards those coming in without the whole big back. Like F1 is what do you call it? Kind of like the celebrity status of the race car driving kind of stuff. I don't know. It seems very, very, very politically driven to me, but what do I know? He just wants to go fast in a car and race. That's what he wants to do. Yeah, this whole idea that we can only go for things that are easy is poo-poo. Like, the best things sometimes are the hardest things to achieve. But once you achieve them, it being hard is what makes it so great to achieve it. So yeah, don't let anybody tell you can't. Right, Veronica? Yeah. You've got to fall sometimes. Okay, who here says, let's see, I'm going to call you guys out. Who has never fallen flat on their face with something? Who's never done it? Who's had a perfect life? I want to see how many perfect life people I have over there. Dressage is the basis for all forms of riding. Right, Leslie? Absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. It's the Chi-Chi. It's the Chi-Chi Lala of the racing world. I like that. Oh, Joanna, which track did your friend's husband build? I see some sarcasm over in the chat. Yeah, one of my inspirations, one of my biggest influences that I can remember growing up is I was a big, big Disney girl. Like Disneyland, I was all about it. Watched The Wonderful World of Disney on Sunday nights religiously. I was a Disney girl. And so as I got older, I wanted to read about Walt Disney and learn about who the man was. Like, I was blown away. He just wouldn't quit with his dream. He got told, I don't know how many times, but it was a lot. It was a lot. Think about this, guys. Think about this. You have this dream to build Disneyland. We think about Disneyland is this just monster, giant, phenomenal place, corporation, multi-billions of dollars. That started with the idea of one man in his head and a whole lot of people telling him he was crazy. Are you kidding me? That is never going to happen. You are never going to have that work. Now, I don't suspect that he envisioned the Disneyland we know today. But when Disneyland opened in 1955, that was his vision. That was what he had in his head to do. So he made it happen. And he made it happen past all of the no's because he needed financing. He needed money. He wasn't rich. He needed money to finance that project. And he had to keep going from one person to the next and keep going until he got a yes. He got a lot of no's thrown in his face. And I'm sure he got a lot of cruel remarks. And I'm sure he got told, go do something better with your life than this far-fetched, crazy dream. And he did not let that stop him. He found a way. He made it happen. Rejected 300 times. Thank you, Veronica. Thank you for finding that factoid. 300 times he got rejected. And now look where he's at. Well, he's in one of three places, depending on what you believe. Right now, he's either frozen somewhere, or he's either dancing in heaven or playing with the devil. Who knows? Who knows where he ended up? But you know what I mean. Goodness. Yeah. So that has been my inspiration since I was that kicked around kid. And I was like, you have no idea, guys. I was the kid nobody wanted on their team. I was the teacher's pet. I stayed after and scrubbed the chalkboards and, did all the teacher's pet stuff. And I had very few friends and I was very solitary and I had my animals. Animals were my friends. And that was my childhood. I was very insecure. And then voila, here I am. I'm like living testament to, if you just persevere long enough and get past those things that are holding you back, you can be whatever you want. You can be and do whatever you want. Oh, right, Margie? Yeah, right. It's the standard still. And it's not even really talked about that much. It's not talked about that women are still the inferior sex. Yeah. But it's very pervasive out there. Very, very pervasive. So I want to empower women. So a question that I keep getting, many of you who have followed me for a long time know I have been in the process of forming a nonprofit called the Niche Foundation. And so that got set to the side a little bit over some issues with some board members, some rearranging of the board, finishing up some legal documents and agreeing on what should be in those and what shouldn't. And I actually was just about ready to finish that and get it all squared away when the opportunity to get into this building came into play. And I had to put something over here for a little bit. And so in order to focus and get this store open, the Niche Foundation kind of had to take a back seat. But rest assured, the Niche Foundation is still going to happen. It's absolutely still going to happen. I have some phenomenal people that want to be on the board now. So that is still going to happen. And I bring that up because the Niche Foundation is all about empowering women who are coming out of bad situations like myself, coming out of domestic violence situations where you really have those messages in your head telling you you're not worthy of anything but being a Walmart greeter. Not that that's bad if anybody's doing that, but you know what I mean. That is a very minimum wage job that's never going to go anywhere. And I want women to understand that you can build an empire if that's what you want. You can build a six-figure reselling business if that's what you want. And I am here to be your cheerleader and give you the tools to make that happen if that's what you want. So I want people to go after what they want. If you heard a Sagittarius, they will build an empire to show you your mistake. Oh my goodness. Is that what it is? Is it just that I'm a Sagittarius? Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I gotta tell you, I'm a little disenchanted with eBay. You know, eBay was going to be my go-to place to have these women build their businesses, and I'm not so sure about that. Not that eBay isn't a great venue to resell stuff on. I fully believe eBay is a great place to sell stuff on. I'm not exactly sure it's a good place to start on. And the reason being is all of the restrictions they put on new people opening up accounts. This is what I'm battling with them on. It's like the only site that does that. Whatnot does it in that you have to go through a screening process to become a seller, which I think is great. That's okay. But once you're on, poof, give them the reins and let them go. Let them go. Sink or swim. I mean, a bad seller, one who doesn't learn like from their first or second falling on their face experiences, is probably not going to keep selling there. So, oh, Patty, I am sorry to hear that. How, if we can empower you to improve your life, we're here for you. I started on Whatnot and am now wondering where else I should go. Well, let's talk about that. There are so many choices now. Now, the basis behind why I am called the niche lady is my theory on how you build an online business, no matter what venue you're selling on. So whether you are on Whatnot, eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, Etsy, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, wherever you are, it starts with developing your idea of what the niche is you want to reach. So who is your customer going to be? Who do you want to sell stuff to? You know, that's your first piece of homework, because then once you know who that person is, now you can structure the items in your store around who that person is and develop something that is easy to market. It's easy when you post on social media and you put stuff out there. You know who you're talking to. It makes sense to that core audience. That core audience shares it with their friends who probably are also your core audience, and so on and so on and so on. And the way the algorithm works is it just brings your stuff up to the right customers. And it just makes it easier to find those people. So whether it be eBay, Etsy, any of those places, you first have to decide, who do I want to sell stuff to? Now, if you're selling, I don't know, groovy vintage t-shirts, eBay is probably not the best game in town. There are specialty places to sell, like Grailed, I think is one. There's like Grailed and Depop and all of these little specialty places also that you can sell on, as well as Whatnot. You just got to know with Whatnot, you are probably going to get less than you would on some of these other venues. And the reason for that, pure and simple, it's an auction. So it's dependent on who's in the room on any given day when you do a show and what you're offering and how much competition there is. I mean, that's it. That's it. That is how an auction works. Is it a great place to flip stuff quickly? It absolutely is. And that's what I love about it, is as long as I am making a decent profit, and by decent profit, it's, you have to decide what decent profit is. For me, in my profit margin, and your profit margin is the difference between what you paid and what it costs, not only the item, but what it costs to sell that item. That's your margin right there. That's what you get to take home at the end of the day. So for me, I am trying to get at least $5 an item after all the expenses are paid. Because then if I sell 10 items an hour, that's $50 an hour I pay myself. See how that works? So you have to decide how much you want to make per hour that is yours to take home or reinvest into your business. That's the first number you need to figure out. And then you can figure out what you're willing to sell and for how much in order to make that goal. But I love Whatnot because it's easy. It's truly easy. You set up the show. You don't have to do all the extensive stuff you do for like an eBay or an Etsy listing, and it doesn't have to sit. It's literally you set it up and you sell it. And that's the beautiful thing. Does Whatnot have a store like eBay that, where'd it go? It moved. That you can load and then get notified. So here's the best way to do that. So you can clone items from sale to sale. So I do this now for like the sale I'm having today at 3:00. Items that didn't sell in my last store sale, I just clone those over into this sale. There they are. They're in my buy now section. So the buy now section is growing and growing because I keep bringing items over that didn't sell. And so that's virtually your store over on Whatnot, because people can go buy those things anytime. They don't have to wait until you're live. So you can build that section up really well. And what I think is happening is Whatnot is expanding on that, and you will have a Whatnot store. There is going to be a store of sorts that you can load items into. Yes. Now, I started out when I was first doing, I was afraid to bring better items to Whatnot. I was really afraid to do it. And then one night I got involved in a glass, one of these, like a bunch of sellers get together and they kind of do a train of, Carrie's at the door. Nobody's letting her in. Stand by. Because I got cameras right here. I can see. So I got involved in this glass sale. I'm like, oh, I guess I'm going to bring some good glass to this sale. And I brought my good glass, and the good stuff sold really, really well. And I'm like, I get it. People want the good stuff here and are willing to pay for it. And so I started bringing better and better stuff to Whatnot. And now it's easier for me to bring things like cookie jars and big old pieces of glass and pottery. That's harder on my live sales because people want to know what the shipping is on that heavy stuff. And then I have to invoice, and I've had a lot of people cancel orders when the shipping was too much. Whereas on Whatnot, it's right there as they're buying, and it makes it super easy then for them to figure out. So that's why you've seen me not bring as big of stuff to my Friday live sales, because it's just easier with Whatnot. I don't have the items not getting paid for. I am sitting, you guys, you ready for this? I am sitting with approximately $1,000 of unpaid invoices right now, which is a dilemma. And I am very, very, flexible and show a lot of grace when it comes to if I'm communicated with and I know there's an issue and all that. I will wait. But I'm also running a business, so that gets really, really difficult. And so I'm finding the Whatnot it gets paid for right there. There is no outstanding invoices. It is paid for. And even on eBay, right now, I just had auctions that ended on Saturday night. What's today? It's Monday. I'm trying to be patient, but unpaid for, like half of the items unpaid for. Items from weeks ago, unpaid for. So that gets really hard. So as far as that goes, Whatnot is amazing because they do screen the people that come onto Whatnot. You do have to put a payment method in there, and you know right on the spot whether something got paid for or not. So I'm really, really loving Whatnot because of that. Like, I sound like a Whatnot cheerleader, but from somebody who's been in this reselling online business for 25 years, I can tell you that the ease of selling things on Whatnot is worth taking a little bit less for them than I would get if I held out and I waited on eBay. Now, especially for those of you who have limited space, because this is a big thing I hear all the time about selling on eBay. It's like, oh, but I don't have room to store all this stuff. And I'm like, with Whatnot, you don't store it. You put your sale on, you sell it, you ship it out the door, and you just keep that cycle going. Now, will it take a little bit to where you sell everything? It might, as you get going. Again, as you build your following, as you build your niche, you will grow it to where now people come and they want to buy everything you have for sale. It takes some time. You got to figure out the mistakes you're making, but you want it, you can grow it. And if you need some critique, you need some help, send me an email with your next show. I will try. I can't guarantee that I can get to everyone's shows, but I will try my best. If it's in the evening, I have a much easier time to get to them than the daytime, but I will try, and I will give you constructive criticism. I will give you some actionable steps you can take to make your sale better. Always happy to do that. I don't think Tiffany's back up and running on Whatnot. Tiffany, are you still here? Are you planning to do another Whatnot sale anytime soon? It's so, okay. And I hope she doesn't mind me using her as an example. Tiffany had to take a break from Whatnot because with, new puppy and big puppy and husband and kids and videos and eBay selling and selling stuff from her videos, she had a lot on her plate. And Whatnot was the piece that she's like, okay, this isn't really fitting into everything else I'm going. Got to put it aside for now. Yeah, she's going to revamp and come back strong because now she's learned what doesn't work for her and what can be better. And I'm like encouraging her the best I can to come back at it with some really good stuff. And then we're going to coordinate it so that her show is right after mine, and I'm just going to raid everybody over into hers. So nobody has trouble finding her. eBay should require buyers to have a credit card on file. I know, right? I don't understand. I will, this is my prediction. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. eBay is on a downward trend. They just laid off, gosh, I don't know how many employees, 500 employees, or are in the process of laying them off. They're raising fees again. So they're in their company going, oh, we need more money. Let's raise fees, instead of looking at it as, okay, what are our sellers unhappy about? And let's fix that. So I see eBay's struggling. eBay's struggling because they've got a lot of competition now, So they're no longer the only game in town. And when you're no longer the only game in town, you better take a hardcore look at what you can pivot, turn, grow, and flex and do differently, or you're going to be Blockbuster. Blockbuster could have pivoted. Blockbuster could have done something different. Blockbuster could have gone to some kind of a online streaming kind of a company, but they didn't. They held tight to, people are going to come in and rent our videos. That didn't work out so good for them. eBay has the technology. Yep. They just don't make changes too fast. Yeah, I'm a stockholder with eBay. I watch the stock very, very closely and I compare it. I'm also an Etsy stockholder. So I watch what the two companies are doing. And eBay is it's just not doing so great. Yep, yep, yep. Yeah, so I've heard of some people having trouble with Whatnot because it is an auction format, and I'm pretty sure that Whatnot has covered that. And because you're not individually being an auction house, they're the auction house, they carry the licensing. That is going to get challenged. That Whatnot is not going to let all of their good sellers go by the wayside because they didn't have an auctioneer's license. That is not going to happen. I guarantee you that's not going to happen. Whatnot has too much writing on the success of the sellers that they have on there. So that's going to get worked out. Sears could have been Amazon. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Never too big to fall. Never too big to fall. Yeah. So Tiffany says, I started to buy items specifically to sell on Whatnot, and that wasn't working. I should be bringing the things that you guys see me thrift, items that don't end up selling direct from my videos. Bingo. Yep. Exactly. I made the same mistake. I did the same thing. I was buying little tchotchkes and things that felt safe to sell on Whatnot. And it started affecting my videos too. I started getting a lot of people unhappy because you want to see the big success stories. You don't want to see the $5 tchotchkes selling on Whatnot. You want to see what's possible. The Curtis Juret that I picked up at Goodwill for 25 bucks and it's worth almost $1,000. That's the stuff you guys want to see. I'm not going to put that on Whatnot. I'm not going to do that. But I am picking up really, really nice pieces to sell on Whatnot now. You know, those bigger pottery. I just have to stay core to my niche. I have to stay true to what I know the people that follow me want me to offer on those sites. Philly Flipper. Am I quitting eBay? No. Am I focusing on full-time modeling? Okay, that's a funny. Oh gosh, that's how rumors get started now. No, I'm not quitting eBay. eBay's very viable, and I'm testing something with eBay right now. You may see it. You may be noticing that I am only running. I'm not only running. That's a lie. I am putting some stuff at fixed price, but I'm mostly running items at $5 auction starts. I'm selling a few things at $5, and it's making me squirm a little bit, but I haven't given it a long enough test. I'm going to see if I run this for a few months every week, doing those $5 auctions, is it going to catch on? Are things going to go for more than that base $5? Because that's obviously the goal. And we're going to see. Otherwise, I may just go back to doing my fixed price, which is what I always did with eBay. So I'm playing with it. I'm playing with it right now. So if you want to watch that test going on, you can follow my eBay listings. Am I here? Am I behind? Am I behind on eBay? I am right now. I'm going to blame it on Carrie. I'm going to blame it on Carrie because Carrie's been gone for a couple of weeks. Yes, yes. Tiffany should do a Whatnot from her room. So here's the thing, Tiffany, I haven't talked to any of my vendors yet here at the store, but I'm thinking on grand opening day is the day. We do little pop-up Whatnot sales. This is what I'm thinking. Let me know. Let me know what you think about that, Tiffany, because they're all going to be here. I mean, and I'm talking just maybe like a 30-minute Whatnot sale during the day. So we could actually get people here in the store to log on to their phones because you can't do it in person. You got to do it by your phone. And then everybody could play. Is it only 10 days? Oh, it's only 10 days away. Oh, there's so much to do. There's so much to do. No, it's more than 10 days. No, it's more than 10 days. Don't scare me like that. It's 11 days. 11 days to get this all done. I still have signage to get ordered and oh my gosh. Anybody want to come volunteer? Help me get set up for this grand opening. We've had a problem here. 12 days. Okay, thank you, Lanny. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you for giving me that extra day. We ran out of hangers. And so we got like this big hanger dilemma. It's the big hanger controversy here. It's like, how do we run out of hangers all the time? But it's a thing. So we're waiting for our hangers to get in so we can get caught up with everything. Exactly, Crystal. You do not need a license to sell on Whatnot because the auctioneer is Whatnot. They are calling the auction and you are paying a fee to use their platform. You are a seller, not an auctioneer. Bingo. Bingo, bingo, bingo. And for anybody who's in the background wanting to cause me any kind of issues, I am not doing auctions. I'm doing live sales. And people are just offering money. And I just wait until I get to the highest offer and then I take it. It's not an auction. Although in Nevada, you do not have to have an auctioneer's license. You have a room of hangers. We use those special ones with the commercial plastic. We have a ton of like tube hangers, but we can't use those out on the floor. That's a good test to have, Becky. If a day isn't really producing the results that you want, change it to another day. Change it to another day. No wire hangers ever. Oh, come on. Who knows what that? Yeah, Jill knows that reference. Mommy Dearest. Mama Dearest. Great movie. Great acting in that movie. That had to be a hard, I don't know. I had to have trouble playing that role. Just, oof. Yeah. Evil. All right, guys. I can't even, it's it. We've been on here for over an hour. How does time fly so quickly? I have to give you all. You're bringing a truckload of, oh, the hangers are coming. We'll have them by this weekend. We're ready for you. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Yeah, we need those commercial hangers. So I got to give you guys all, a potty break, get something to eat so you can come back for the Whatnot sale. That is starting in less than an hour. So if you haven't already signed up for Whatnot, Melissa will put a link over there that you get $15 to come and spend. $15 just for signing up. Yep, you do have to put a payment method on file, but it's very safe. You guys, it's all encrypted and nobody's taking your card and going off and using it for anything. I literally have had people afraid of that. Oh yeah. I gotta find those Betty Boop magnet. Where did I put them? They're here. They're here somewhere. That was something I cloned over from a previous sale. So we got to find the magnets, but we have them. Yeah, there's lots of stuff in the buy now section right now. And there's lots of stuff getting added. I will tell you, if there was something that you put in a comment on the video that you wanted, it's going in the buy now section first. So watch it because I think Carrie's here now. Do I see her? I'm looking at the cameras. I don't see her. I hope she's here because we're going to get those items listed in the buy now section right when I sign off from here. And so they'll be available. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I can't promise I will do it every week, but I'm going to try my best because I really like hanging out and talking with you guys too. Really, really like hanging out and talking with you. Hoping that I can be a little bit of that inspiration, motivation to help you grow that business and that life that you want through my mistakes and and my learning from the falls I make so you don't have to. So with that, everyone, go be profitable and make it fun. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.